What was the breaking point of your marriage?
It didn't feel safe for me. Of course, when I got pregnant, I realized that, if this is the attitude of people around me, when I am pregnant and I'm going through so much of trouble, this is how it's going to be.
Emotionally, were you more connected to your mother or your father?
My father.
Do you carry a lot of insecurity for money and fear?
That shows of me having money and then letting go of all the money that I have. There's a guilt there also for asking the right amount of money.
Our roots, money, health and relationship, are coming from our root chakra, which is our father chakra. And as a personality, are you more like your mother, your father? You know why? Because you end up always becoming the person you resist the most. Do you also have a fear of failure?
Yes. Oh, yes. A big one.
This burden that you're carrying of, I need to heal, is that giving you a sense of identity? Vatsala, what exactly are you dealing with and what areas of your life you feel needs to be upgraded for you?
I'll just give you background because I started working when I was 20 and I have 18 years of working in retail. But there was always a side of me that I wanted to explore. That was spiritual side of me, because there was a side of me connected to spirituality from the very beginning. I feel like, I was a very spiritual kid also and a teenager. And then I have been meditating, practicing yoga for the last 15 years along with my work. And then I started learning tarot. So since last 1 year, I've been doing tarot, numerology, and healing for people full time. First thing is pathless, that even though I know what I want to achieve, I don't know how to get there.
You don't have a direction?
I don't have a direction. There are doubts because, of course, I have 18 years of working somewhere, so there are blocks and doubts coming from there. Right now, also resources to reach there. And
resources in terms of money?
Yes, money.
Okay.
And I feel that there are actions that I'm taking, but I'm not getting the results from there. So I'm kind of, that stuckness is coming from there. Right now I feel there's a halt, like there's a pause at everything. And I feel that since last 15 years I've been going through cycles in work, in personal life, in love life, where I'm just hitting rock bottom. Like I rise and then I hit rock bottom. Then again I do that. So that's what's happening. And I feel like now I've come to a point where I feel exhausted and I want to break those cycles.
Okay. And would it be okay for you if I go in a little deeper to ask you certain personal questions?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's go back to your childhood for me to understand where all this is stemming from. How many siblings are you?
I'm the only one.
You're the only child. Okay. Did you grow up at home or did you go to a boarding school?
At home.
At home.
But I do want to mention that my father grew up in boarding school and my aunts, they were in boarding school.
Okay. While you were growing up, those initial 14 to 18 years of your life, emotionally, were you more connected to your mother or your father? Emotionally?
My father.
Your father. Who was your go-to person?
Both. I had a loving family, like both. I could go to both of them to talk, but I still feel a very deep soul connection to my father. I feel like I'm with him.
So my question was not soul connection. My question was emotional connection.
Yeah, so emotional connection also I had with him. Like, I felt very connected to him.
And did you miss having a sibling?
No, because we were in a joint family.
It was okay for you not to have a sibling? Okay. And how many years after your parents' marriage did they conceive you?
1 year.
As a personality, do you feel more masculine or more feminine?
Blend of both, but yeah, masculine.
More masculine, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel at times like, so masculine is more of action, more of out there, more charged, more responsible, more, and the feminine essence of calmness, like that's slow, that is like.
Yeah. Now I'm getting more in touch with that.
Just to ask you about your marital status, are you married?
Not anymore.
Not anymore, okay. Do you mind if we touch upon that?
We can talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just tell me, like very briefly.
So I married somebody I knew, I knew this person when I was 18 years old, and we were dating till I was 26 years old, and we got married, and then I shifted to US. So even while we were in the courtship, there was a sense in me that I wasn't very excited about my marriage. You know, there was that sense in me that I could see red flags, maybe I can call it that. But then I was like, okay, we've been seeing each other for so long, and I think this is natural in relationships, and that felt comfortable. And, you know, I thought, okay, this is the age that we get married. So we got married and we moved. And the biggest...
But it didn't feel safe for you.
It didn't feel safe for me. And also the fact that time I was doing very good in my career. I was actually in a very good organization. I was traveling all around the world. I was doing well financially, had a stable job. At a very young age, I'd created that for myself. And so I had to just give it up. And first thing was like, I didn't know what I was doing in US because I could not work on my visa. We had, like, before I moved there, we had plans that I'd probably study more, and I wanted to go to FIT and study more. And of course, now I can identify it. But then the first thing I wanted to do was support myself. And I was like, if I start working, maybe things will get better. So I was applying for universities. Of course, now I know that, you know, that was not the core problem, but that was how I was identifying
But that's how
it.
you recognized it.
Yes, yes. And there were a lot of red flags that I was ignoring then. And so I was like, okay, I am going to look for, I'll start applying to colleges and I'll see what happens. And I gave my TOEFL, I got good marks and everything, but then I got pregnant. And even though I was happy, but yeah, of course, I was not in the right state of mind. And because I was just so confused about where life is going, I also felt, and I think it happens with a lot of people, that my life has just changed absolutely. I was not even ready for it. The life that I had before and life now is completely changed, and I don't know the way forward. I mean, people feel settled when they get married. I never felt settled. I never felt that it was my home. I want
to ask you one question. What was the breaking point of your marriage? Like, when did you decide to leave it? What was that breaking point?
It's very strange. When I was in US, 3 to 4 months after being in marriage, I used to wake up and I used to feel like I should just write a letter and leave. So I had that feeling.
You just wanted to leave?
Yeah, I just wanted to leave. And then, of course, when I got pregnant, I realized that, you know, if this is the attitude of people around me, when I am pregnant and I'm going through so much of trouble, this is how it's going to be. You know, this is how people are around me, and this is how it's going to be. So you
truly felt emotionally unsupported by your environment.
Absolutely. So I was basically, if I have to summarize it, I was extremely lonely there. I was not supported. I was not even supported financially, emotionally. I felt like I was in a vacuum there. Like somebody just took my life that I had there, and I was just dumped into US.
And I want to ask you one question. I'm not sure if you'll be able to join the dots, but it'll really help if you do. When was the first time in your life as a child you felt this feeling? Emotionally. And this is not about your parents did not love you. It's not about that.
Yeah, no,
but it's about feeling this feeling in your emotional system.
I can't pinpoint. Actually.
Did you grow up with a very familiar feeling of feeling unsupported emotionally? Was that very familiar?
I wouldn't say emotionally unsupported, but also I felt that my thought process was a little different from my family, and they did not understand my thought process. So I always kind of kept myself, like, whatever thoughts I had, now I've learned to express them more. I always tried to blend in. I felt that I was a little different in school or whatever. I was just too emotional, maybe. I just saw things differently as people around me. But
okay, but that feeling only came right after marriage. It was never there before.
That feeling came after marriage. That's right.
Okay, it sparked
Yeah,
something, or
yeah.
it brought it out.
Yeah.
And it brought it out with anger, or with irritation, or with rejection. How did it come out?
Helplessness.
Helplessness. Feeling helpless. And then what was your immediate reaction to that feeling of helplessness?
I need to get out of here.
Run away.
Yeah.
And at what age, how old was your child when you decided to leave? And
2 months.
Okay.
So things got really hard because once my parents came to US to support me, like I said, my pregnancy was very difficult. They were not welcomed in US. They were not treated well. There were fights and arguments. And so things got so miserable that there was a point my parents were actually thinking, should we take her right now and get her the delivery done in India? But then that was too dangerous. So things got to a point where we were kind of forced to
leave.
Yeah.
What did your father do as a profession?
He's into business and now he builds cottages in Hartola.
Was he there around, or was he traveling too much for his business?
No, he was always there.
Always there.
Yeah. So I have to mention this, that my father had a difficult childhood. He was in hostels all the time. He was unsupported.
Why? By his mother?
By his parents, because he was in hostels. And when he was 18, he was coming to Delhi and his mother died and father remarried. I feel I do carry that.
The abandonment. So do you feel that sense of abandonment, or?
I do.
So between abandoned and feeling unbelonged, which one do you feel seems familiar?
Unbelonged.
Unbelonged. So when you got married to this person, was there always a sense of unbelongingness? And that made you sad?
Very sad. Very sad. Like, for a lot of time, I was just numbing my feelings because of course, that time I didn't even understand, after so much of healing and, meditation, now I understand a few things. That time I didn't even understand where
And as a personality, are you more like your mother, your father? So if let me talk specifically. So because we're getting somewhere, your anger, does it look more like your mother or your father's?
My mother.
Your helplessness?
My mother.
Your guilt and those feelings of anxiety or
my mother.
Fear?
Yeah, my mother.
Your mother. And that feeling of not being supported?
Yeah, my mother. My mother.
Okay. And was there something happening when she conceived you? How was her life during your time of conception when you were being born? So you just mentioned that your father's father got married again. Was it a similar timeline, or was it something like during that time where she might have emotionally felt unsupported, unheard, unbelonged in that scenario?
I'm sure she must have, because the stories that I've heard of that time, because she was from a very supported family again, and she came to this family which was obviously going through so much of trauma, even though...
And what was the trauma like?
So the family, like my father's side of family, till the time my grandmother was there, they were in tea states and they were doing really well for themselves. As soon as they landed in Delhi, she lost her life. They were emotionally unsupported because they were never supported by their father emotionally. It was the mother who were the three siblings they were keeping together. So my father had to take the responsibility of everything. My grandfather remarried. He had another child. And the kids had to figure themselves out at a very young age.
Was this happening the same timeline when your mom got married?
So my mom got married, I think, after 1.5 or 2 years of this happening. All of this happening.
So what I'm hearing is there is this environment where your mom comes into, where there's a new mother-in-law.
Right.
Which apparently your father's stepmother.
Yes.
And they live in the same house. And obviously your father would have been wounded with all of that emotionally.
Yes. Yes.
Well, how did it, do you have an idea? What was he going through?
I read a poem that he wrote about his mother. So my father tells me that, because he always stayed with his grandparents, he always stayed away from the family, and he was in hostels, and so he was anyways always not supported. And so when all of this happened, his mother looked at him when she was dying, and she told him that you need to take care of your siblings now. So he kind of kept his emotions hidden to support his siblings.
So that burden.
Yeah.
Do you also feel that you're carrying a lot of burden on your shoulders?
Because I think the way he was, he made me that independent. Like,
So it's funny
yeah.
that you say you're very emotionally connected to your father, you have a soul connect with your father, and you're really inspired by who he is. But by default, you end up becoming like your mother.
Yes.
Okay. You know why? Because you end up always becoming the person you resist the most.
I resist my mom the most. That's true.
And what about growing up? Did you, so because at some timeline in your childhood, you decided you did not want to be your mother.
I know that.
What was it?
Because I always saw my mom and I said, not that I loved her for who she
Yeah,
is.
we're not debating on the love.
Yeah. No, I'm just telling you what exactly my thought
okay.
was that time. I was like, yeah, I love her, but and both my parents are givers. You know, they have people pleasing and giving, which I also have to some extent. And I saw her, I was like, she's not happy. I don't want to be that. You know, I have to do exactly opposite of she's doing.
And you ended up creating all the unhappiness in your life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that why you decided not to embody the feminine and become more masculine? Or is there anything else? If you mind me going a little deeper, any sexual abuse you went through? You don't want to, okay. And as a child, and it's very normal, okay, to be scolded, to be beaten up, to be shouted at. So did any of that happen?
Yeah, my mom was very strict.
Yeah, so you want to talk a little bit about that, like how strict?
So my mom was very strict because she wanted everything perfect, mannerism, this and that. And I'm also Leo, so I'm quite a rebellious thing, you know, that doesn't sit right with me. So there was always a clash between the two sides, you know, where she wanted me to be like all poised and this and that. And I'm like, no, I can't be this.
And another very important question, what was the dynamic, and come from a place of a child, not as a grown-up adult.
Yeah.
What was the dynamic of your mother's and father's relationship that you saw in the negative tangent? Not like, oh, they were very good. I don't want to hear that.
Oh, yeah, I know this.
Did your mother feel unsupported in her environment by your father?
This I acknowledge. I understand also that. So my parents were, I feel that they could never communicate or understand each other, both of them. There is a huge communication gap that leads to a lot of fights, even though they'll be talking the same thing, but I feel that they don't understand what they're talking. Okay, and that I saw.
At this moment, can we tap into our inner energy a little bit?
Yeah, I feel uncomfortable.
Okay. So can you just uncross your legs, just sit back comfortably?
Yeah.
Yeah, close your eyes. Just put your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath in. Breathe in through your nose. No, just breathe in first. Wait for my cue. We'll exhale when I tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, slowly inhale. And exhale through your mouth. Inhale. Exhale. And that heaviness that you just mentioned, you felt something coming up, right? Where do you feel that heaviness right now?
At my back. Here.
Yeah. Okay, keep your eyes closed. Just let's go into that heaviness. On a scale of 0 to 10, let's give it a number. Like, if you had to measure it.
I'll measure it with darkness.
Yeah, okay.
And 7.
7. And let's give it a color.
Dark grey.
Okay, take a deep breath. And let's slowly explore that heaviness. 7 on 10, dark grey. What emotion do you feel is entangled there? Stuck energy. Is it anger or sadness or resentment?
A bit of all.
So between the three, which is highest?
Helplessness.
And in that helplessness, there's sadness attached? Taking a deep breath. I want you to look for anger. Where is it?
Here.
Yeah. And who are you really angry with?
Myself.
Okay. Who else? And you can give yourself permission to express any emotion and sensation. If you feel like crying, feel safe. Just let it go.
Oh, myself and the entire world right now.
I don't know if your logical brain might connect to this. I want you to really look. I want you to really look. You're angry with your father. There's a lot of anger trapped. And that's not yours. You're carrying all the burden of your mother's anger for your father because she felt unsupported. Just keep your eyes closed and just relate to this. Do you feel that? Do you connect to what I'm saying? Where is all of that anger trapped?
I feel this side of the body heavy, the entire side of the body heavy.
That's your right side. And the right side is the masculine side, connected to our left brain. So do you realize that anger for the masculine energy? Who was the first masculine energy in your life? Your father. Let's just vaguely analyze. Why would you be angry with your father? Like, what are the possibilities?
First thing came to my mind, for not being there. And
For not being there. Where was your father not there?
I can't say about my life. So this...
Yeah, but just whatever is coming up, we don't use your logical analysis right now. Just tap into the energy in your body, because your energy never lies.
Yeah. So I feel that my father for last 15 years was not emotionally there with me. And that made me angry because he was always there for me before that. So something changed, and that was confusing for me.
Okay. Just a little more elaborate about that.
So I feel that last 15 years after I got divorced and I came back, I saw a lot of change in my father where and there could be n number of reasons, but I just feel that he's not there. Like emotionally, he's just in his own world, he's just not there. And I do feel like a void in that area where I feel that my dad is not there supporting me anymore.
Okay. And this feeling that you're talking about gives you the same feeling of helplessness that your mother went through when she was helpless.
Possible.
Just kind of see, because feelings and emotions don't lie, energy never lies. So you'll just have a sense of it. It's all at the unseen energy world. Yeah. Okay, last question, and then we'll go into a process of unfolding this. This anger on your right side of your body that's trapped, does it have sadness attached to it? So you recognize helplessness and anger, but do you also recognize sadness?
I'm recognizing pain right now.
Pain.
Here.
Sadness, so physical pain is nothing but emotional pain, and emotional pain is sadness. Take a deep breath and breathe out. Go back to the energy on your right side. How do you feel? That 7 on 10 block right at the back.
Now that shifted to my shoulders here.
Okay.
Here. I'm feeling the pain here now, just on my shoulders.
And what is the burden that you're carrying? Open your eyes. What is the burden that you're carrying in life? Emotional burden. What do you feel burdened with?
I have a responsibility towards my daughter. I have responsibility towards my parents, and I just want to give them best life, you know. I want to give them best, and I don't even see it as a burden though, but a responsibility. That's what I can think about right now.
Okay. I want to ask you one question. Has there been ever a time where you regretted your decision for divorce? Was there something good about it? And I'm not taking you back to the past, but I just want to understand where you are today.
I don't regret divorcing, but there has been a lot of guilt because I feel that the divorce has caused pain to a lot of people. So I do carry that guilt sometimes, but I don't regret it. I feel that even if I've gone through a lot after divorce, that was a good thing. I did not want that for myself.
Which is fair, which is
yeah.
fair. Yeah.
But I do carry that guilt that so many people were hurt.
Okay. Why were they hurt?
I feel that, especially when my daughter, even though she can meet her father, I feel that she's not had a normal childhood. She's never seen her father and mother together. I feel sad about that. And I feel that after we got divorced, even my ex-husband, I don't see him happy or settled anymore in life. So I feel sad that a lot of people, I asked myself, was it even worth it? Nobody's happy after this. But I also don't feel like...
Are you happy?
I can't say I'm happy, but I'm okay. I'm happy with the divorce, I can say that. I'm happy that that part of my life is ended. I don't want to go back there.
No, you can't go back. That's not the question.
But I'm not, I won't say
I'll
I'm
tell
happy.
you one thing, because one person we lie to is ourselves. And acknowledging your sadness does not mean you have to go back into the marriage.
Yeah.
But it creates a space for healing that sadness.
Right.
And you have to acknowledge, are you happy or not?
Yeah, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, that there's so many people what was the point of it all if none of us are happy? So that's the guilt that I carry.
Okay. And you just said something very profound, which made a lot of sense to me. You never saw, your daughter has never seen her mother and father together. Okay? I want you to go back to your childhood. And in spite of your parents being married, were they together?
I don't think so. They never went out on dates. They never did stuff together.
So do you see how patterns repeat? And that's where healing means we innocently pick up patterns, memories, right from the time we were in our mother's womb. And without even logically processing them, we are repeating the same story. So that sense of not being together is where, and the whole thing is there in your subconscious mind, because that's how you see a relationship, not together. And that's what we create in our life. So you never saw your parents together. So that left a deep impact on your memory that relationships looks like they're apart.
Yeah.
They're meant to be apart.
Yeah.
Right? And, okay, going back into this whole feeling of not being supported, do you also have a fear of failure?
Yes. Oh, yes. A big one.
Yeah?
Yes.
When was the first time you tasted failure as a child? What was failure for you? Was it class marks?
To some extent, yes. I was in DPS, the kind of school I was in, you were made to feel like a failure every day. So somewhere there, but where I identified is, I can tell you, where I started working and I was really afraid to lose my job, and I overworked.
Okay, and something else. Who were you not good enough for? Your mother or your father? With your marks, with the way you were, with your behavior? Who always had a problem?
My mother.
So do you carry this feeling of I'm not good enough?
Yes, I do.
So that core feeling of I'm not supported, I don't belong, I'm not good enough, and I'm going to fail.
Possible.
Now imagine carrying these four energies deep in our subconscious memory. How can we be successful and thriving in our business or our relationships? Because our subconscious mind drives our life.
Yeah.
And the first thing we need to do is go into these core negative beliefs. And see, these beliefs are true for you because you picked them up. They were real for you when you picked them up as a child. But today you're an adult and they no longer serve you because you've outgrown them. Like you outgrow your clothes.
Yeah.
As you grow up, it's very important we outgrow our belief system, because it could be a small thing like, okay, you got 6 on 10 or 7 on 10 and you struggled hard to get that marks when you were a little child. But when you came home, your mom maybe have expected you to get a 10 on 10.
Yeah.
And she must have just told you, okay, 10 on 10 kyun nahi aaya? And you picked up a message, oh, I'm not going to be good enough for no matter what I do. And that becomes a very core, hardwired memory.
I still feel that.
Yeah, because so the first thing is you've got to go into your subconscious mind and rewire those beliefs. So we'll take you there and we'll replace those with affirmations. But before that, I also want to ask you, these 4 negative beliefs that you carry about yourself, does it also leave you left with the loss of identity of who am I? Are you struggling with identity?
I am.
Can you just tell me, how does that show up?
At this present moment, I'm really struggling to listen to my inner voice. I feel that should I listen to the inner voice or should I listen to what people are saying? What is right? I don't know. And what is it that I want for myself? That's on the surface. And I think that's what I'm identifying right now, that, like, I'm really struggling. What is it there for me? Like, what is it that I want to do? What is right? What is wrong?
And to cope up with the loss of identity and loss of sense of belongingness, what is your coping mechanism? Like, what do you do?
I'm overthinking. Also,
you try to fit in?
I used to. Okay, that I worked on, not anymore. So that was my coping up mechanism, which I'm letting go of. So it's getting more difficult for me to kind of cope up. So the overthinking is coming, which I'm trying to cope up with meditations, writing, journaling. That's what I'm trying to do.
You're finding yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're on the path. Okay. So the 2 things that you must recognize is the past is over, right? We can't change it. But it did leave some traces of the residual energy in your subconscious memory. The first step is the subconscious patterns need to be rewired and changed, because these will keep repeating up as patterns, because you've carried your parents' patterns, your father's patterns of abandonment when he went to the hospital when he was a child, and maybe your mother's childhood patterns, and being the only child, right? Somewhere you also took it upon you that now this is your responsibility to take care of your mother and father, right? So that could also be like, because at one point you did mention that when something is too much for you to handle, you run away. So our nervous system only has 3 responses: fight, flight, or freeze. So yours is the flight mode, and maybe that could have been a reason why your nervous system wanted you to even run away from the marriage, because there were no solutions, but the only option was running away, right? So this burden that you're carrying of, I need to heal, is that giving you a sense of identity? Does it make you feel like, oh, okay, if I take care of my parents and I'm the only one, what is it giving you? Like this pain on your shoulders.
It's actually giving me nothing if I try to look deeper.
So there's something called responsibility, but when the responsibility is coming from, so there are two elements in life. There's power and there is force. Power is a very innate, inborn thing. So when we're coming from power, we don't need to make effort, because the spirit or the divine in us is working through us. Force is something that's external. So I want to ask you, so close your eyes for a moment and tap into that energy on your shoulders. Give it a name. Do you feel like a mountain on your shoulders? Do you feel it like weight? Weight. Another word would be burden? Yeah?
Yeah.
Take a deep breath. What is the burden you're carrying? The burden to prove your existence, to prove yourself, the burden to belong.
To prove myself, I guess.
Okay, the burden of to be seen, to be heard, or to be understood.
To be understood.
Okay. Take a deep breath in and breathe out through your mouth. What else is the burden?
Now the pain is shifted here.
Yeah. Are you willing to let go of the burden? Do you see this burden as power or force? Is it a force?
Force.
Yeah. Heavy.
Heavy, yeah.
Yeah. And now our goal is to transmute it into personal power. Yeah, and open your eyes, yeah. So, if I had to make an analysis of this entire thing, there are three areas I would like to focus on. The first area is our roots. Our roots create our fruits. And when you understand life, the fruits are three areas: money, health, and relationships. And our roots are coming from our root chakra, which is our father chakra, right? Where did you come from into this where did you come from into your mother's womb? From your father's body. The seed of you is coming from there. And that seed carries all the energetic blueprints of all the lifetimes their ancestors have lived. So somewhere that becomes a part of your blueprint. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
So this whole theme of your life feeling unsupported is coming from there, right? And I'm not saying that your parents didn't support you, but that feeling is deeply ingrained.
I understand
Yeah?
that. Yeah.
So the root chakra needs a lot of work, right?
Okay.
Strengthening the root chakra, because that becomes a container of our consciousness and energy. Like imagine a tree that is not rooted enough, will not bear fruits. It'll keep struggling, right? The second thing, what I'm seeing is this sense of identity. Who am I? Right? Because there's a struggle to exist. And maybe in our further sessions we could explore this. But what I'm seeing is this whole thing that like you said, to be heard is important. To be understood, you said, between be seen, being heard, and being understood. I also feel to be seen is core importance for you. Tell me, just correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know it consciously, maybe subconsciously.
Look.
Yes, I will look deeper into that.
To be seen.
Yeah.
So do you try to hide yourself? Do you not want to be seen, or do you want to be overseen? How is it in your life? How does it show up?
I think it's balanced, though. I've never had, like I said, never had a stage fright. I was quite, on the top of it, I was quite a confident person who could give interviews. So
no, it's not on the top of it.
Yeah, so
inside.
I'm just saying, inside I never felt uncomfortable being seen or not seen. Like it didn't, but yes, if there is, okay, so I don't know where that comes from. In a lot of crowded places, I like to hide myself. I don't like to be around a lot.
Why? Why don't you want to be seen? What does that make you feel? Not good enough?
No, it's just, I feel that's too much energy right now. I just want, like, I like my, I don't know, safe space, or if it's like too crowded, too many people, I just like my quiet corner. That kind of
so, and the third thing is working on your subconscious memories and beliefs and patterns. Because these patterns will keep repeating and they'll go on to your child and, you know, and also the guilt that you are carrying. Because your guilt is your sacral chakra, guilt and shame, right? And you said you're guilty because a lot of people were unhappy. You need to forgive yourself, because we cannot undo the past. But if you want to move on and forward. Last question, do you carry a lot of insecurity for money and fear of money?
I think I do.
Yeah? How does that show up?
That shows of me having money and then letting go of all the money that I have. So I would say that I've had money in life. Like I've worked in corporate for 18 years. I've got good this thing. But yes, I feel very, of course, there's a guilt there also for asking the right amount of money, getting the right amount of money. Why would anybody pay me?
Defining your worth.
Yes.
So please understand, our sacral chakra, which is the second chakra, is about connections, about worthiness and deservability. And it's a water energy. The second chakra is the water element. The first chakra is the earth element that gives us support and that gives us a sense of rooting and grounding. And the second chakra, the water element, when it's too overactive, it becomes leaky and you cannot contain the money, or you cannot define a price tag for yourself. There's always guilt or shame attached to it.
Yeah.
So do you see that? And these two chakras, basically our energy centers at the core, are the root of who we are, the mother and the father, the masculine and the feminine. And when they are not integrated or balanced, we end up creating emotional wounds and money wounds. And our entire life theme is moving around that. And that gives us a sense of loss of identity. Our third chakra, which is our Manipura or the solar plexus, is a sense of I, healthy ego. I belong, identity. So do you see the lower three chakras, when they are carrying their energetic wounds, right? They show up like you not being able to achieve things in life that you want. So everything is a head stuff then. So in your head, you're very successful. In your head, it's all head stuff. But when it comes to the material world, there's a gap.
That's true.
Do you realize that?
Yeah, that's true.
So that's where the real work is. And so what would be your major takeaway from this conversation for you? Like, what was that one aha moment that you feel that, okay, this made a lot of sense?
I think everything that we discussed made a lot of sense. I used to wonder that why is it that I'm in these cycles, and now I understand it why more clearly. I was not able to, of course, even when I was trying to introspect, I was not able to see them so clearly like you've made it so clear for me. So that gives me a direction to what to work on and why is it that I'm feeling certain things. So that's going to help me, because once you know where the root cause is, you can work on it. It will definitely have a positive impact on my relationship with my parents. I do feel that I have a good relationship, but it's just the little issues that we have is just going to...
To be very honest, this is really not about your parents, darling. This is more about your masculine and your feminine.
Yes. But also when you're in that environment.
Inner world.
Yeah. When you're in that environment, So sometimes there is, I'll tell you why I said relationship. Sometimes there is this irritation that I feel and then I tell myself, why am I getting irritated? But I know where it's coming from. So that impacts the relationship.
Yeah.
So that's why I was...
Yes, but I'll tell you one thing. The quantum field out there is only a mirror. Okay, it reflects your inner world. And your inner world carries the masculine and feminine. And when the masculine and the feminine are wounded, although the wounds are coming from our mother and father, the healing doesn't happen there. The healing happens when we go within.
Right.
And we heal the masculine and feminine, because these are the two wings that we carry. And if you want to fly high, they have to be imbalanced. Any of the either side wounded will only keep you stagnated and stuck as a gap between my thinking and my reality.
Yeah.
Right? So the whole idea is about going within and exploring. So for your inner world, what is the message you get?
First message is that why it's important for me to heal. Second message is to balance, like you've told me. Even though I need to learn more on how to balance the masculine and feminine, because I still feel that I'm a little bit lost there. And third would be to balance the chakras, like you said, work on the lower 3 chakras so that the grounding and healing can happen from there.
Yeah, and the first step to the how is becoming aware, acknowledging that this is there.
Yeah.
Because the first step towards healing anything is acknowledging that this is there and where is it coming from. Sometimes we don't even want to go back to where it's coming from, because it again takes us to narratives and we want to bypass that. But only recognizing that it's there is the first step towards the doors opening up for the healing process to begin. Right? So yes, we'll just go through a very quick breath for us to become a little more self-aware, because awareness is the key, right?
Yeah.
So just close your eyes. Yeah. And we'll inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Yeah. And we'll inhale at the count of 4 and exhale at the count of 4. Yeah. So in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. I would prefer you opening your mouth and rather than blowing it out.
Okay.
Yeah, that will give us a sense. Yeah. Okay. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. 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 Inhale white light, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Just breathe in white light slowly. And breathe out all the pain that you're carrying. Breathe it out. Let it go. Just inhale love. And exhale all the fear. Inhale a sense of belongingness. And exhale. Let go of all the sense of unbelongingness. Inhale white light. And hold the breath. Just hold it. Bring a smile on your face. Just put your hand on your heart. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. While you affirm after me, I'm willing to look within.
I'm willing to look within.
And I'm willing to change all my narratives.
I'm willing to change all my narratives.
Take a deep breath in. And breathe out. I am willing to change and heal.
I am willing to change and be.
Breathe in. And breathe out. I'm willing to change and I'm willing to heal.
I'm willing to change and I'm willing to heal.
And just when you feel okay, open your eyes.